up? What's up? Hello. Hope everyone is having a wonderful night. Um, hope everyone is having a wonderful night. I'm going to wait a few minutes to see if there are people who want to come in. Welcome, welcome. Oh, okay, let's see. Dr. Amira, how are you? I'm going to put your name on here too. I always forget people to give shout outs to. So I'm going to put your name so I don't forget. Fula, how are you tonight? Um, peace, peace, and love lifted. I'm just waiting for to see if we're gonna have a little bit more people, and then we can start. It's been as always every night. It seems like lately. Um, some craziness going on. Is Chief Nola still in here? Oh, they are. And guess who's the leader of that cult, Fula? And that's what we're gonna talk about tonight. That's what we are talking about. Um, Let me see. Oh, I forgot outro. Um, did you guys see my? I'm having another live. It was supposed to be today. I've been trying to get on live all day, but my son got his shot, and so he could not go to school today. He could not go to school today. Um, outro about. Okay. All right, you guys. I'm so ready. Welcome, welcome to the people in the room. How are you guys? Tonight, as you know, I am a kind of person where I love to have notes. That's just the kind of person I am. So I wanted to go over my notes and make sure that I had everything. But I am doing a live. I just want to point this out now, and then I'm gonna talk about it again at the end. Um, okay, yeah, and exactly. My kid, Dr. Amir, my kids are in bed as well, so I can't do it if I don't do it during the day. It's not gonna get done because they come from daycare, and that's a wrap. Okay, Lifted is she's a Leo. Okay, okay. Them Leos. Yeah, my two crazy ones are in bed too. My oldest daughter, she needs to take herself to bed. Um, but this is I was gonna say I'm having a giveaway. I'm having a giveaway, you guys. $10 Cash App giveaway, but it's like a challenge, and I'm going to get into more details at the end. And this is to encourage activism and to really try to get people involved in being proactive with this whole carbonation situation. Yes, lifted notes are a must. My daughter's a Taurus, Dr. Amir. Oh goodness. Okay. Some Tauruses. Woo, child. Y'all are brilliant, but y'all are very stubborn. Um. Okay, so today we're talking about um female narcissists and narcissistic personalities. Let me know, make sure y'all can hear me. I'm not too loud and not too low. We're talking about narcissism and narcissistic behaviors. We're using Velvet as an example because if you do not know, Velvet is definitely a narcissistic has a narcissistic personality. Um, I can't say she is has the disorder because I'm not a psychiatrist. So these are just my opinions based off of her characteristics and observations from how she treats other people. Um, okay. And I do want to talk about the let's see. Oh, Gracia, what's up? How are you? How are you? How are you? Don't forget to hit the like, you guys. Hit the like button. All right, here we go. So, did anybody see? I'm sure most of you have already seen it, where Velvet is supposedly meeting with the other girls on Bigo, having a conversation about. I'm good, Garcia. Having a conversation about their experiences, quote unquote, their experiences um, while in carbonation. Did anything stand out to you guys? My water? I think it's more. I was in the ice. She not a narcissist. Believe me, I'm only a. What's MFCT stand for? Um, but I know for sure. So that's what. So lifted. This is why I'm having this presentation today, or discussion, or whatever you want to call it. Because from my perspective, she exhibits so many of those qualities that female narcissists have. Uh, I'm good, you. I'm an Aquarius sun. LOL. It's all about her. Yes, Dr. Amir, it's all about her. That's why I said they lifted. She acted like she got better treatment than the girls. Exactly, Lisa. Welcome, welcome, Lisa. She, hey, welcome, love letters. She threw hella shade at the females and then tried to cover it up with something nice. I'm a master's level therapist. Okay. Oh, can you come up to the panel at some point? I would love to get your perspective on some things. So do you have your master's degree or are you obtaining it now, working on it? Velvet makes things all about her, and Nature Boy and her and are the same person. They sure are. She didn't own up to her role in anything for the. Yes, and that's what I wanted to point out, you guys. So number one, um, Velvet. I'm gonna give you the. Let me see if I can pull it up. Y'all know I'm not that savvy with technology. Here we go. I'm gonna share my screen. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, share. So I think I found out. Thank you. I think I found out how to do this with audio. Hello, Wolf Kelly. Am I saying it right? Because I see a Kylie or Callie, maybe Callie, without the C, replaced with a K. Callie Love. Share. All right. Can y'all see that? She is just as guilty. Absolutely. I've been working since '98. Okay. So yeah, you'll have some great input. Awesome. And remember, these are all just our opinions. This is a discussion. It's going to be healthy. Um, let's see. Okay, so this is something I wanted to show because when we think of narcissists, we always think about males. And unfortunately, males aren't the only narcissists where they have this very, brute, um, extravagant personality um, that most people think of when dealing with narcissists. And so I'm just going to read. I'm trying to find out where it was. I'm going to read. Okay, female narcissists utilize. Oops, sorry for the pop up. Female narcissists utilize neglect or guilt as a form of control. Um, Whereas male narcissists are more likely to utilize power and status as a form of control. And so when we look at Velvet, we see that she uses neglect. When she first went to carbonation, what did she do? She blamed her parents, right, for all of the things that she went through. She blamed, um, Eligio for not taking care of the other women, when really that was her job as the so-called empress. Um, so she tries to guilt people into conforming to what she wants. The women, she would call them, um, you know, dumb in some cases. We actually heard her on a live calling, what is that girl, Syrian, I think it was Syrian or Honor, telling her that she wasn't as smart as her, right? Let's see what we got. Can you please make sure you check people's credentials before letting them up? love, love letters. So if I check people's credentials, I feel like people can say what they are. I have no real credentials other than life. When it comes to um identifying what I think Velvet is, in talking about narcissism and narcissistic personalities, I really don't have any credentials. So this is like, kind of our opinions, really. Um, and so, I mean, if she was supposed to, if I had somebody who was a guest, absolutely, I would do that. Yes. Uh, so many people lie about who they are. Do narcissists attract other narcissists? Oh, yes. Yes, Wolf. A narcissist can definitely attract another narcissist based on my research, based on what I've read. Eliana thinks that the women are there to replace her. She's fake genuine. Callie, I'm gonna tell you why. She thinks the women are there to replace her because she truly believes in her mind that Nature Boy worships her. Nature Boy is only for her, and she was the only person for him. That's exactly what she said. She said, "Thank you, baby." She said, she said that she was what she say, raised or built. She was built to be with Nature Boy. Um, I'm a holistic life coach, doctor of philosophy and metaphysics, herbalist, and I'm qualified to tell you she needs spiritual cleansing and healing. Absolutely, yes, Doctor Man. And I know your credentials. Um, and I'm a mandated reporter. Me too. I'm also a mandated reporter. Um, they're all dumb though. Velvet thought she was going to change nature. Yes. Oh, I'm gonna put this up. Can I put this up? Okay. Velvet thought she was going to change Nature Boy. She thought Nature Boy was going to stop wanting and being with other women. She loved the power she had and simply left because she finally realized that was never going to happen. And you guys, that's the whole point I want to bring up. That's the point I want to make, is that the literally the only reason we see what we have today, we have what we see today, um, is because we see a female narcissist, what appears to be a female narcissist who is bruised, right? Um, they didn't get what they want. She was going to go back, but see, she's dealing with a counterpart. She's dealing with somebody who is just, well, he might be a little bit more narcissistic, but someone who matches in some aspects um, her her demand for power and control. And so when she met him, everybody remember when she met him? When she met him, or when she went to the cult, um, she was with another man. And based on the account of an ex-member, she said out of she was said to have said, um, she was going to f the blank out of him for him to want her next time, because he turned her away, pushed her away, and sent her to Olmec. And so she was going to change that. When she was there, Nature Boy was already with Serenity, Faith, Fairy. I don't, who knows what that woman's name is now, but he was with her, and he was with uh the girl they call Pocahontas, I think her name was. And it was another female. Velvet was not number one, okay? She was hiding in the wings, waiting for her opportunity. And if you, I do want to point out, if you go to Tony T, she has a video showing that backstory of how Velvet was waiting in the wings, praying on Nature Boy to pretty much be, the head woman. Um, this is just us. This is just us discussing this in a healthy way. Absolutely, Gracia. You can definitely check my credentials. If you want to one day be a guest, sure, but it's not necessary listed. I promise you, it's not necessary. We just all, in a safe space, just discussing things that we might not be able to somewhere else. That's all. Um, but you let me know if you ever decide that you want to come up for something. I like that we are all mandated. You let me know if you want to ever come up as a guest speaker, and you are more than welcome. I'm also a licensed funeral director here in my town. Velvet needs to learn to be a mom. She had help since she gave birth, got no job, still doing things for donations. She needs to get a grip. Eliana needs therapy and a job. Gracia and Callie are like on the same page for sure. Um, UEAP. I'm not sure what that stands for. Just talked to just talked to my son's coworker, caseworker, and she told me that LOL. I don't remember hearing this in class. Oh, I'm reading a conversation, someone else's conversation. Everything she knows is what Nature Boy taught her. When she speaks, she sounds like Nature Boy, and her mind sounds like that of an elementary school child. She can't even articulate herself. She was amazed by Nell form. Oh my God, I saw that. Oh, that drove me crazy. Um, to me, she reminds me of like she's stuck in adolescence, like the high school years, like ninth grade, ninth grade, 10th grade. Um, which is interesting because the Peter Pan syndrome can affect females as well as males, but we mostly hear about it with males. Um, let's see. Everything she knows, yeah, okay. I forgot about Serenity. LOL. It's been so many. Exactly. Serenity. She's one of those people where she said her piece. She didn't implicate him for some reason. A lot of them have an issue with. I feel like not only Nature Boy but our society put so much pressure on women to be quiet that she doesn't want him to go to jail. She just like a lot of them say. And this is why a lot of people end up getting trapped by Nature Boy in a way, and being complicit is because they don't want him to go to jail. They just want him to get better. um, let's see. Yep, she is Nature Boy. That part. Velvet. Where did they go? Velvet acts like she wants to start preaching similar teaching. She does. That she learned from Nature Boy. It's like she's still brainwashed. Wolf, she does. And if you listen to her, she for some reason lately she only talks about the last time that she left, and she calls it an escape. Um, which I find interesting. But the I believe three times she left before that, she has mentioned, and even now, she has mentioned that she left because of his obsession with women, his obsession with sex, and she believed in his teaching. She said that out of her own mouth, that she believes in his teaching. It is only recently that she starts saying that his teachings are a fallacy, that he's fake, and this is all BS. But for every time she left, she said she truly believed in what he was preaching, and I think she still does. Um, Lifted, yeah. I am always open to come up on your panel. These credentials honestly have nothing on the real assignment that God has put on me. That's the only reason I have these. I know that's right. Mine is all professional writing and teaching. Um, oh, this is definitely a subject I'm interested in. Good. Welcome, welcome, Liliana. Uh, the panel she did, she made everything about her. Yes, she did. She's juicing herself way too much. They act like they're scared of him. Serenity wants people to like her, so her channel gets more views. Poor Serenity. Let's see, let's see. No, not at all. Trust me that I'm right there with you. I don't hold my tongue and I walk with my truth. See, okay. Uh, oh, like Dr. Amir, you leaving us? Okay. Uh, they all should be locked up for child abuse. I don't understand how any of them are walking around free, and that's what's confusing. So what happens is they either move, Callie, or they when the authorities come, they say nothing's wrong, and authorities can't really do much if they don't see signs of abuse. Nature Boy talks about his childhood like people do serial killers. Um, talking about uh talking about how he was a crack baby, he ain't get breastfed, so he self soothes. Oh yeah, I saw that. All this BS. So again, nature. We know Nature Boy is a narcissist, right? We know for sure that people go through some of the most traumatic experiences imaginable, imaginable, and what separates those people who become narcissistic or sociopaths are how their brain is able to deal with those traumas, how they're able to function past those traumas. And where's my therapist who can um kind of talk about the validate what I'm saying. They should be locked up for even making the circles for him. Ex- Gracia, the reason why he's not going to go to jail for that particular incident, and probably no incident with Velvet, the reason why they made that circle and nobody cared is because the relationship that they had was with two narcissists, right? Two narcissistic personalities clashing, and unfortunately the male is more physically dominant and stronger. But we've seen Velvet punch him in the face. You get what I'm saying? We've seen her fight back physically. She always talks about, oh, I fought back with my personality, and I fought back. I tried to, stop it. She was just as toxic. They talked about her punching Olmec, and he's not a violent individual. She's an abuser. She has a history of abuse. She abused her parents. They talked about, the fact that she would fight her family. Nothing Velvet did in Carbonation was new. Running away whenever she didn't get her way, degrading the other women, humiliating the other women like she did on that live. Ra isn't even there. Why would you say that about her? Ra has her truth to tell about. She could talk about that. If she wasn't on the panel, that didn't need to be discussed. What's up, Rhonda? How are you? Malia got bit and then was happy after. It was sick. Oh, Kylie says, my parents were on crack and I'm a teacher. Make exactly. He chooses to be a menace. Nobody's life is perfect. It's about decisions. Thank you. Thank you. And that's why I want people to understand. So when you hear Velvet, because we're talking about the female narcissist, when you hear Velvet mention things about Nature Boy, like the day, oh my goodness, y'all, the day she started crying when she was reflecting on the past, his life, on how he grew up, she started crying because she felt empathy for him, for whatever he was going through, or she wanted us to feel empathy for him for whatever he was going through. She wanted us to think that it's a. So I've read Lifted. I've read that socio it can be genetic dispositions, though there is so much to. I read that it's one of those nature versus nurture type of things where um it can be, but but it's not for sure that we believe that it is. Researchers believe that it is, but it's unfortunately is you can't you there's no definite um way to tell whether or not it is or isn't. Exactly. Lifted. She cut her own hair. She cut her own hair. I guess somebody thought that he cut it. Let me see. That video of him cutting her hair was deeply disturbing. Callie, she cut her own hair and then made the public believe that he's the one who did it. It wasn't until um I think maybe the second or third time she left the camp that she admitted that she did it herself. Oh no, let's take that back. She admitted that she did it herself when she was there as well. And she had scratches all over her, and no one believed it because of what she looked like when she was like she looked physically distraught. She looked like she had, somebody had beat her up. She wants to one up Nature Boy. She is, yes, Liliana. She wants to constantly to convince the world that she's above all the other women. She forgets how he treated her. And what people don't understand is, remember, again, it's so many signs. Hey, Lady Leo, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Oh, I want to mention before anybody leaves, there I know you probably seen that I was supposed to go live earlier. I will be going live tomorrow. I will try and do it a little earlier. If not, it'll be around 9:30. I am doing a Cash App giveaway. But it is a challenge, so you are required to participate in something. Um, let's see. And I know $10 is not a lot for some people, for most people, but it's just, to encourage activism. Um, what was I saying? Oh, so, um, yeah. So she forgets. Before there was Velvet, there was Maisha, there was Yaya, there was um, what is her name? There was Yaya, there was the one they call Nature Girl. I can't remember her name. And there was the baby mom before Maisha, and these were his wives as well. He married them, girl. Like, you don't. I can't understand how she does not see that she is replaceable, and he tried several times to replace her. But you want to know why he kept her? Remember, we're dealing with a narcissist who was with a narcissist. He kept her because she gave him views. People gave her money, and he knew that she would give the money right back to him. So whenever she left, she would get money. They might have even planned those times of leaving. They might have even been planned by the two. Because I only hear her talk about the last time the time I escaped. Now, why doesn't she call the other times? Why does she doesn't recall these other times? Why doesn't she call those escapes? We see her leaves. It's recorded, right? So I'm inclined to believe that those were plots for money, for views, um, and it's just keep people watching, keep people engaged. Some of the women that went to carbonation were recruited by her. So how is he doing something behind your back? She claimed that he was sleeping with women behind his back. When she got into that situation, he was already with 3 other women. When she became one of the women he regularly had sex with, um, she was not number one. She admitted to other people that she was going to sleep her way to be number one. And then when she got to that position, all of a sudden she thought that her sex and was going to I guess be so good that it will make him not want anyone else. And that is a narcissistic trait. They use female narcissists as well as males. They use sex as a tool to get what they want, as a weapon against others, as a manipulation. Velvet has been trained under nature. Okay. These all these years. If she is talking online without really getting some true therapy, I'm not convinced she's healed. She's not healed at all. At all. I can guarantee you that. Pocahontas, thank you. That was her name. Yaya and Pocahontas. Nature Boy and Yada should get together. They tried it. They don't get along because they're one and the same as well. Look up pure sociopaths. So I do know sociopaths don't have feelings at all. That's how I know Nature Boy is not a sociopath. And I don't think Velvet is either, because sociopaths have no, like, they literally have no compassion, no feeling, not nothing. They feel nothing. It's a saying. I don't know if you've ever heard it, but it's a saying that I was taught by somebody in the field. Lifted, that you can be um a narcissist. A sociopath is a narcissist. I'm sorry, a narcissist can be a sociopath, but a sociopath can't be a narcissist, or something like that. It will take Velvet years to heal. I don't know who Yada is. He's another quote unquote guru, Callie. Nature Boy is full of feelings. Yes, he's full of feelings. That's how that's how you know he's not a sociopath. He's full of feelings. He can't control those feelings. He can't control his feelings. He has no power over them at all. He yearns for affection. He yearns for the things that he can't get. And so he acts out in rage. Look at his eyes. There is nothing there. He has that stare. So, okay, lift it. Have you ever heard of the Night Stalker? I cannot remember his biological name. The Night Stalker. He was Hispanic. You want to talk about looking in somebody's eyes and seeing that there's nothing there? Look at that guy. Look, if you guys want to Google it right now, the Night Stalker. That man had the stare that you're referring to. He said he sells fake sea moss, beats his women, and scams his own people. That's Yada. Syrian, I believe is her name, was starting to open up about the sexual trauma she suffered, and Velvet just cut her off, but she wants them to be heard. Liliana, I don't even know why she had them on the panel. I'm still trying to figure out why she called them up there, because all she did was overpower that dominate the conversation, and that's what narcissists do. They want to dominate every conversation. They want to dominate every inch of whatever space that they're in. Um, she said anybody would have anything to say, and then as soon as the girl starts talking, she cuts them off to talk about her experience, or to tell somebody else's experience, or to brag about how Nature Boy treated her as opposed to them. Learn feelings that are superimposed from others, a mirror reflection. You think Nature Boy? Do you think Nature Boy and Nature Boy is a sociopath who has practiced those emotions to who has learned those to display those emotions. Interesting. That's an interesting perspective. Richard Ramirez. Thank you, Liliana. Richard Ramirez. Welcome back, Dr. Amira. Ted Bundy is, oh, yes, Ted Bundy is definitely a sociopath. Um, and that's what I'm saying. It's like you can see how sociopaths are created. Sociopaths are created, you guys. That's what's scary about them. I truly, and this is all, we are all just expressing our opinions. Nature Boy, there's a case file somewhere in the world because he was hospital institutionalized. So there's a case somewhere that somebody knows the answer. They're very disciplined in how they move, but they are very impulsive. Sociopaths are very impulsive. They tend to be level-headed and know how to control their emotions. They have no emotions. Gracias. They blend in. That you don't recognize them. Absolutely. Um, but yeah. So again, we Nature Boy is all over the place. I'm trying to stay away from getting too much into Nature Boy because we already know who he is, right? We know what kind of person Nature Boy is. There's no surprise to us when he gets on live and he makes fun of Malia's, circumstances. That's no surprise to us. But I think sometimes we forget that there are women who um, create these type of men who create nature boys and who are nature boys. And my argument is that Velvet is definitely one of them. I honestly want to change. Callie is too much. I honestly want Eliana to change the battery in her smoke detector. It's annoying as hell. I think the ones that don't beat like he don't beat like I and F are suspect too. Gracia, trust me, he beats all of them. He can say whatever he want on that camera. He beats all of them. They all get their opportunity and their chance to be beat. Absolutely. Okay. So let me make sure I don't have anything else that I want to say. Um. Okay. So I'm going to put my link in the chat. I think only 2 people at a time can come up. It's 21 people in the room. Please make sure you hit the like button. Shaka and Velvet said Efru and Aya have never been beat. Um, there was another member who stated that Aya was beat. And that was along when she first came. I think she learned quickly how to you know stay in her lane. But that's why he calls her boring. You have to remember, Nature Boy likes to beat on people. He likes to break people. And if he can't break you, you're boring. And Velvet gave him that. She was his narcissistic supply, and he was hers. He was hers. When she made a demand, you know, for a little while, he agreed to it. And he made her feel beautiful. Look, he transformed her physically. Mentally, I think she was already, a little cuckoo. Exactly. I was rooting for her, but it's like, damn, makes it hard. Him being with other females seemed to be what she had and still has a problem with. That's it. She don't have a problem with anything else. The only problem she has is she doesn't get to pick the women. And Lifted, I'm about to let you up. I'm putting the link in now. She doesn't get to beat the other women. I mean, she doesn't get to rule dominate the other women, but when she has the opportunity, yes, she does. And I think she only left this last time because she was humiliated. She was humiliated by Nature Boy when he allowed her to fight. Um, what is her name? Tanisha. And if you notice, Velvet only goes live when someone else is speaking on it. There was one of the times she left, she didn't go live at all. Let me stop sharing this. One of the times she didn't go live at all. All right. So the link is in the chat. Anybody is welcome to come up. I think 2 or 3 people can come in at a time. And whoever comes up, they have their opinion. Please be respectful. We can have disagreements all day long. Just be respectful, y'all. All right, let's see.
Can y'all hear me?
Welcome, welcome.
Hey, y'all.
How are you?
I'm
You can
good.
tell us your name
Um, lifted.
or the name you use. The name you use on here. That's fine.
It's Bodie.
Bodie. Okay. Well, welcome,
Um,
Bodie.
I'm gonna try and use like, as like direct, like professional information as I can, just so it's not so opinionated. But I am pretty like unbiased,
Okay. I'm about to bring
So
somebody up, so keep talking.
okay. So I'm gonna like try, I'm pretty unbiased, even though I have like an affinity for velvet because I believe what I believe like in a professional um scope that I believe what's going on with her because I do know that she has um she has PTSD for sure, and I know it's going to take her a really long time. Let me turn off my notifications really quick. I know that it's going to take her a long time for her to heal, and for her to heal not only because of her age, but because of her because she has uh, a limited belief system. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because she was plucked directly from her childhood
Mhm.
into Nature Boy, because she really believed that this dude was the Messiah.
I have a
So,
question. Yep.
mhm,
So, you said that she has childhood traumas. Um,
right.
what would those childhood traumas be that would make her truly believe that somehow she is more superior than other women?
Well, for one, because she was raised, I'm not saying just because she was raised in an area where I'm not saying that women are not just directly because she was raised in the South, but because, in the South, women are raised, to serve their husbands, and that's a limited belief system. And when you're raised in a like an area like that, you're already um you know you're not raised to talk back to your parents at all. You're not uh the women serve their husbands. um Young women serve the father. It's you're taught to do that. And the religion itself, not just Christianity but Catholicism, if you do have a way of going to, let's say public school. Even public schools are, kind of central. So um, I do recall Velvet saying that she went to Catholic school, and she wasn't raised in a lower class um, area. So she was raised in the middle to upper class area. So she went to private school the majority of her life before she was kind of set off to the streets to do her own thing. So she was raised pretty well, you know.
Mhm.
And so a lot of her limited thoughts, she she was already genetically predispositioned towards thinking that way. And then she was kind of like a person of the land. She believed in serving community, serving her parents, serving the land, and she was very geared towards that. So she was already in servitude, um, being very she loved the land. She was just kind of one of those children, you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
And
so the reason I
Can I say
asked
something real
because
quick?
yes, is that love letters?
Yeah.
Who just did it? Was that love letters?
Go ahead. Say what you gotta say. Say what you gotta say.
I will save that. Welcome, love letters. How are you?
I love
I
letters.
appreciate you. I'm doing very good. Thank you.
Awesome. Do you want to say something in response to Bodhi?
Yeah. You had asked Bodhi what made her feel as though she was superior to the other female, and I don't feel like Bodhi answered.
Well,
Yeah,
Um,
yep, that's what I was getting ready to.
I
well,
I
um,
didn't feel like that. I didn't feel, hold on, let me finish. Let me finish. I didn't feel like that was an appropriate response because every woman that I know that was a kept woman is a very humble woman, a very loving woman, a very caring woman, and doesn't react the way Velvet does. And I don't feel any type of way about you being supportive of Velvet.
well,
Everybody has the right to their own opinion.
it's not me being supportive of Velvet, but what I'm trying to give you is a clinical diagnosis of Velvet, and that's why I said that I'm coming from a clinical diagnosis of Velvet. I'm
I
not being
I
I'm
understand
not
that. I
being
understand that, but we
Hold on,
can't
one
make a
person at a
clinical.
time. One person.
Okay, we can't make a clinical diagnosis without actually,
Right.
being with that person. But however, this
Yeah.
is what I want to say. I just wanted to keep this short. I don't want to take up any of your time because I do enjoy listening to you. But I wanted to say that Velvet has not actually produced. Nobody has actually produced any paperwork concerning their illness. And that's why I think that so many people don't want to speak out because I don't think people have actually taken tests about
Mm.
their health, and they're out here putting other people in danger, and they are scared of facing repercussions about this because there have been people, and I have heard that people have said, okay, allegedly, okay, that Velvet got tested a few times. I've never seen, or she has never shown anybody those test results. And nobody actually that has left that camp has showed any test results, even
That's a
how
good
hard
point.
they're keeping Malia's, Tanisha's condition so secret. So that's why I feel like people don't want to speak up, and that this has been going on for so long. It's because everybody is like scared to get tested or has a positive test result, and it's been so long and so far that it's actually gotten to the point where it's like we don't even know how many people have really been infected.
right. I think that we could make I think that with that we can make a pretty educated guess on that, with who and how everybody's been, negatively affected, with um with with that part of that. But what we're talking about is like a clinical diagnosis on their mental health. But I think when it comes to their um you know that part of that, until they do produce something, I think that we can make a
Yeah.
pretty educated guess on all of like that part, you know what I'm saying? Because it's pretty clear. We can go back from the very beginning, when, like, let's say for example, when it's melanation, because we
I'm
can
gonna
go
drop down. Thank you
far.
for having me.
No
Thank you so
problem.
much.
Okay.
Thank you so
Bodhi,
much.
stay on. Go
I
ahead.
think we can go pretty far back with that. We can go as far back as when, Nature Boy got to, when he first got on Facebook and he started making videos on how he can. I think we could. Can we? I don't even like calling him Nature Boy. With when Eligio first got on and he started making videos when he was in his, when he was in his little, 10 by 7 bedroom, talking about he was going to go out and do his little thing by himself, how he looked from that point. to when he first got into nature, yeah, and how he um transgressed, his physical being. He started growing dreads, he started getting thin, he displayed like, a physical decline, how he declined physically. And I'm not talking about just by being in the sun, eating from the land, and, doing certain things, and how he just looked physically declined. We've all been, even myself, being in the military and, doing 20-mile, uh, carrying a rucksack on my back and eating MREs. Even my own body was being triggered by the elements, but I didn't even look that bad. You understand what I'm saying? And that's just
I
me,
think we all know there's something there. We all know at this point that there are sexually transmitted diseases being passed around, which may be
right,
contributing to the decline of their health. The
right,
what we're what this particular live is addressing is
their
the
mental health.
right the mental health, the behavioral that affects the behavioral decision making and acts, because again, people think that narcissism is I mean, it's definitely male dominated,
Right,
um but women also um have been clinically diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. Women,
right,
and again, um we forget that these people look like our mothers, these people
right,
look like our sisters, our nieces, our daughters, and so we try to disassociate them with uh these the people that the males,
right,
that hurt people day to day. And we want, my goal is to get people to understand that Velvet, even though she is a victim, I agree, she's a victim. I don't think she is the victim that we are all thinking about. I think she was
right,
victimized by someone who was a lot has a lot more um ability to manipulate than she thought.
right.
You get what I'm saying? And
I
so
absolutely.
what the issue is she had a panel. Velvet had a panel of women to address the abuses that they experienced, and she literally dominated the conversation. She lacked the emotional understanding that some of the women were not there, and so their stories should not have been told, as well as just showing a lack of empathy for the ones who were on the panel. and and so even though we can't diagnose her, unfortunately we can't, we just we can't diagnose her because we are not her therapist. We don't have
Right,
this the education for most of us, and for the ones who may have that, we just don't have the we don't have her. We don't, you get what I'm saying?
absolutely.
Love letters, you come back up, you have something to say?
I got one last thing to say. Yeah, I do want to have one last thing to say. First of all, I
Okay.
appreciate you ladies. I love your vibes. Both of you guys, I love your vibes. What I wanted to say was that if you notice that what Eliana is doing, she's basically capitalizing off of the other women's experiences there, because without those people coming to her channel and relating with her, she's doing the same thing Nature Boy does when he sits them
Hmm.
down and he's like, tell us
Exploiting them,
about their
yeah.
trauma. Tell us. So she's capitalizing off that, because every time people go there, they're throwing money at her. They're giving her more support because
Right.
people are going over there to reveal those juicy secrets.
Welcome,
Another
Ivy. Love letters.
Right.
If you want to
I,
stay, you can totally stay and mute yourself if you think you're going to have something else
You, you know what I did want to talk about really quick? We
sure.
I think if we go back to the very beginning, we have to realize that all of them, there's something like I'll break a little bit of anonymity with myself, really quick, just so you can understand a little bit of my background.
Okay.
Um, I'm I'm Buddhist, and before I became, I'm part of this here in the United States, back in the early 60s and 70s. a group of Japanese Buddhists came here to the United States and brought a form of Buddhism called Nichiren Buddhism to America. And one of the ways that they brought it here were
Mm,
through the American military. And how they brought it here is of course, the Japanese women didn't know English. And what they wanted to do was to produce um, world peace, and so they, of course, the American soldiers that were in Japan didn't know Japanese, and the Japanese women didn't know Buddhism. I mean, they didn't know
hi,
English,
Callie. I'm
and
listening.
so in bringing that over here, the form of Buddhism, like I said, was called Nichiren Buddhism, and the sect of it was called Daishonin. And so it was, the US considered it to be a cult. And when it was a cult, uh, obviously I was born into that cult, you know, and obviously, when people are in a cult, they don't know that they're in a cult. And that's like big facts. You just
Right,
don't know that you're in a cult
right,
because when you're involved in it, um, there's there's you exhibit a certain type of vulnerability even as a child. You just don't know because that's all you know. You just know that you do these certain acts. And for myself, there was no sexual abuse. There was no um there was none of that. I we just, within the group, we just shared, characteristics. There was psychological abuse, obviously, because we all shared the same belief system, and it was a belief system that we truly believed that what we were spreading was um, world peace, and that's what we prayed for every single day. And what we would do was we would go to the it was a
think
temple. We
I'm
would
gonna
go.
cut you off just real quick. Do you
Mhm.
think that it's possible that some members
Mhm.
understood what it was, depending on their rank or depending on whatever the circumstances were? They understood what it was, but they accepted it. They were okay with it because you have to remember, sometimes people join a certain group because
Mhm.
they relate to that group. They join the group because they understand that group, or that group they feel the group understands them.
Okay,
Not.
oh,
Hmm.
I'm sorry.
Nope, you're fine. Go ahead.
I'll tell you this: the members themselves, and and this is why I work so much with cult members to help
Hmm.
them escape and just to
Hmm.
help them understand what the dynamics are. The group members do not understand. They don't understand. The only person that understands that they are in a cult is the leader themselves. And in and in the Buddhist sect, the only person that understands is the priest. That's the only person that understands that it's a cult. That's the only person that understands because they're the ones that
Can
carry
we?
out the laws. You know,
Can I say something real quick?
sure.
I feel as though, Buddhists and all these other religions, like Christianity, even Muslims or Catholic, all those are cults as well. They're
Right.
just
Yeah.
on a larger scale. But I do want to say real quick before I drop down again, and I promise I won't come back up unless I really, really need to say something. But I do feel like Eliana is Nature Boy's complete reflection because she is capitalizing off of other people's pain. I haven't seen or shown. I haven't seen from her any remorse or anything about how because she sits there and
No,
she's just like Nature Boy. Nobody talks about all the good stuff I did for the women. Nobody
that's
talks
right.
about that. And then she'll have somebody come on. She'll have
But
them
she can't
tell.
name the good stuff. The issue I have with her is she says the good things that I did for them is to try and get them to be more hygienic. That's not you can't. That's not anything quote unquote good. She also says, one of the other things, wonderful things that I've done for the women is try to teach them. how to draw. And if you look at narcissistic personalities, if you look at their behaviors and the things that they do, they believe that these surface things, such
Hear
as
me?
teaching someone hygiene, is a form
Can you guys hear
of.
me?
Mm-hmm. We hear you.
Oh, she just left again. I think there's something wrong with her connection. But they 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 look at these like very surface level things as as true, helping and ways to show that they care about people, and that's not.
But she'll be quick to have them come up online and say, "Oh, today we're going to talk about this and that," and then she'll have a woman come up, right, and she'll have the woman tell her story, and she'll be like, "Oh, you remember that time that you did this?"
Mhm.
And then she'll go ahead and find a way to diminish this person's light,
Mhm.
like
Like when she
try to
talked about
and
God, did you
right.
Buddha, I'm sorry, Buddha.
But
Bodhi.
but
Excuse me.
that was the social precariousness of like, narcissist himself. He was, he was a very beautiful human being, right? He was, like, quote unquote a god. Narcissist, he would walk around, with his head held
Right.
high, and he would
Right.
only see himself until he fell so deeply in love with his
With
own image
himself, with his own
in the
reflection.
water,
Right.
like he
And that's
didn't
why I
know.
say you have to look at Velvet, because like the whole term, narcissist came from this, like you said, this man who saw himself and saw his own reflection and fell more in love with himself than anybody else. He already had that thought already in his mind, and somebody
Right,
just needed to wake that thought up, if that makes any sense, or the
right.
action woke that thought up. And I truly believe that Velvet in this case was her, those narcissistic thoughts were awoken by Nature Boy. He put her on a scale that nobody else in that place was better than her. Even
So,
though we know for a fact he was telling other people, this woman is nothing to me. She's, you can have her if you want her. But he filled her head with so much that the things that she wanted from her parents, you have to remember where she came from. She
mhm.
was searching for that attention. Her father even said it. Y'all don't know her like we know her. She's a very manipulative little girl, and she's going to try and dominate and get what she wants. That's what her father said.
Right. But
That's so true.
the you know narcissists, they have um a very, 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 like a very high psychiatric comorbidity to
Mm,
themselves, because they cannot, they only see surface. They cannot go, they don't have, they can't go deep. When I tell you that they cannot go deep, and when they do go deep, they leave their body. And so the even to try, and that's when I say, honestly, um it will take people like us, people that have the ability to go deep. And when I say have the ability to go deep, we can see deep. We can see that they
mhm,
have those traits, right? And when it comes to people that have been, I'm still Buddhist. I only belong to the lay part of. I'm still Buddhist. I still belong to the same. I'm still a Nichiren Buddhist, but I belong to the lay member. I didn't even know for years. When I tell you for years, I didn't even know that the same Buddhist organization
mhm,
that I belonged to had a real one. I was like, oh, so I could pray by myself? I thought I
yeah,
had to get somebody to pray for me. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? I
right,
didn't even know that. That's how, lost I was. I had no idea. I thought I had to get somebody to ring a bell for me. I didn't know I even had the ability to ring my bell, right? Meaning to wake my own self up. But, on that note, I didn't even know, like, I didn't even know. Now look, ladies, look. I don't know if you remember in the comment section, I mentioned um, God, right? I didn't even know that there was a God, meaning like I didn't even know. He woke me up. He was like, "Look, daughter." I was like, "Who's that talking?" He was like, "Father." I was like, "Father? What father?" He
But
was
that
like,
was part of your
"Your
self
father."
discovery. That was something you discovered within yourself, right? Nobody
Yeah,
taught you that.
I,
You didn't need anybody to teach you that.
girl, you girl. Look now.
I'm gonna drop
I
down. Thank you.
Okay. And
when
I know you're dropping down. I mean, so there's a space open. I wanted to know if Ivy, if you wanted to come up, because Ivy said she was in a cult, I believe. Um, so if Ivy, if you would like to come up, please come up. I can put the link in one more time for
I
you.
I really think that you know with all those carbonation members,
Mhm.
I guarantee you, though they all may not have had like drug addictions, um, they've all had some type of like strong vulnerability. They've all had some
Right.
protective where they felt that they weren't protected. Um, those factors, commitment issues, things like that, where they didn't feel that they could identify with something. And more so, like with Nature Boy, if you look back into his history, when he was adopted by the bishops,
Mhm.
um, because he was adopted so young, I believe that he was adopted, you know, he was probably still wet behind the ears, that he was adopted,
Oh yeah, he was adopted very young. Welcome, Ivy. How are you?
hi,
Hi,
Ivy.
ladies.
Hi,
Hi,
Ivy.
ladies. Hi. How y'all doing?
Good.
Good. So
With her sweet
we have
voice.
yes, we
Thank
have
you.
right now on the panel someone who has a master's in psychology. Is that correct?
Um,
Um, Vody?
my master's degree is in marriage, family, and child therapy.
Okay, marriage. So a therapist, clinical
Yeah,
therapist.
yeah. I mainly deal with um children.
Okay,
Like I don't deal with the family structure, but what I deal with is comorbidities
okay,
with the family structure.
okay. And then we have someone who has been. Correct me if I'm wrong. In a cult. Is that correct, Ivy?
I was not in a cult. I was in a
Oh,
15-year relationship with a
oh, okay. Which is
narcissistic personality disorder.
Oh, okay, with someone with the narcissistic personality. Okay, yes.
Hmm.
So, I just want to hear, because as you heard, we've been discussing, these identities are these characteristics, and the
Hmm.
goal for this particular live is to, um, talk about narcissism within the female, and I'm using Velvet as an example.
Okay.
Um, what say you?
Well, I had different views, and I'm loving what everybody is adding to the conversation here. And what I'm involved in really in my life is I am a coach for codependency recovery right now.
Mhm.
Mm.
And after I escaped my relationship with the narcissist that I was with, I had to internalize what my own problem was and how I was vulnerable to a relationship like that. And I found that I was codependent. And when I started to really do the research and I went to counseling and everything, and I really got to know a lot about how codependency looks in women and how it can actually display some narcissism, especially when you've been traumatized by a narcissist for a certain amount of time. It's somebody as troubling as Nature Boy can really do a lot of damage to a female. And we're like sponges. Women are like sponges, right? So we absorb sometimes traits of these men that we're with. And even after the trauma,
Interesting.
I think the way that she's trying to cope with how she dealt with the situation is the display of what she's going through right now. Now, there's two different types of codependency, right? You
Mhm.
have active codependency and you have passive codependency. And I feel what she is displaying is somewhat of an act of codependency, which tend to be the type of women who can be very loud, boisterous, right? And manipulative as well. So some of the things that you've seen in the camp, I felt this displayed some kind of codependency, but an act of codependence. She used some manipulation to get what she wanted, and the goal was to have a monogamous relationship with Nature Boy. But I feel that if she was actually narcissistic, I don't really think that she would have been able to last in a relationship with Nature Boy as long as she did being narcissistic. He wouldn't be in a relationship with another narcissistic person. I think she was codependent.
Wow, that's a good perspective. Interesting. That's a very interesting perspective.
Another reason why I feel like she is a very narcissistic person. One thing was because I felt like she was capitalizing off of the women's abuse that they also experience there, and the way she diminishes what happens to them. But I also want to say this. I'm kind of unsure what the plan is with Velvet, and I feel like she is capitalizing off those women, because I want to put it out there that anybody who talks, like anybody who was part of carbonation and that goes online and talks about their experience that they had at the carbonation, if they were to make a witness statement, it would be invalid. You see what I'm saying? So all those people that are online saying what they're saying, right? She's making a bean off of it, but they can't go to the police and say this happened to me, because what they did was they went online talking about their experience at carbonation. So whatever they would say to the police, they couldn't even take a victim statement. And that's why I feel that Velvet is capitalizing off these women, because they don't even have the knowledge that if they could go to the police with the information that they have, that they could be helped, that their statement could be taken in consideration. Period.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Am I going off topic here, guys?
No,
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 no.
no,
Okay.
Not at
no.
all.
I feel like
My
she's
question, I have a
totally
question for all
exploiting.
three of you, and anybody who wants to comment in the comment section.
I think that well, I think that be, like because because Velvet is leaving,
Mhm.
you know, again we have to understand that, like the dynamics of Eligio, and we have to I'm so sorry that I just forgot her name. Um
Velvet,
no, not Velvet. Uh with the L
Malia,
name. I'm so
Malia,
Love
what was it?
letters.
She
Love
just
letters.
no,
love
what
letter.
was her name? No, just
Is it a carbonation member or is it somebody on
no,
the panel?
on the panel.
Love letters.
No.
Ivy. It's
Ivy,
only one
Ivy,
person with an L.
Ivy. Yeah, Ivy. I'm sorry,
Okay.
Ivy. I'm so
It's
sorry.
okay.
I'm so
It's
sorry.
okay.
Um,
That's it.
she was talking about like when you're codependent, um, people that have like because Velvet is a victim. You know what I mean? Because she's like a double victim. Because she was in a cult. You know, um, when
MJ,
you
you have the opportunity. Give me 1 second, you guys. MJ, if you can be respectful, you can have the opportunity to come up here as well and speak your piece, because this is not a space where we only have one view. Everybody, dependent, no matter what their view is, can have an opportunity to speak and share their thoughts or what they know. Just as long as you're respectful. Okay, go ahead.
okay, when like when a victim leaves, um when victims leave that type of relationship, and especially, because velvet was young when she got there. And I understand, I understand that she sucked, she sucked Olmec, and and what we saw, you know we got to understand that the things that happened between her and Eligio, he let us see what he wanted us to see. Again, he was in control of the camera, and he let the other cult members record what he wanted us to see. So you have to understand, because he's a very controlling being. He's a very controlling being. So it's common for victims to attach um, to their abuser, uh,
Right.
particularly when there's um, intermittent positive reinforcement. So, say
Right.
for example, if another cult victim is being positively reinforced, so you pick up this camera and albeit you get some extra nuts, you know what I'm saying, because they were hungry, and
Absolutely.
you maybe
And that
there's
they
these
kind
things
of put
called
yeah.
there's something called a trauma bond,
Right.
and when you're
Right.
trauma bonded by something, meaning that after being subjected to prolonged belittling and control, you become kind of childlike,
Right.
and addicted to any sign of approval from your abuser. And
Right.
these men and these women, they're very, very, very abused. And uh, you can refer to it as Stockholm syndrome or Peter Pan syndrome. And you a lot of hostages or people in cults, they develop this because it's positive feelings for their captors. And these people, whether they're in the closet or what do they call it over there at Carbonation? They're in the
Isolation.
spaceship or anything like that. You're especially susceptible to this because the relationship dynamics over there, they're repeating a pattern that they've experienced this in the relationships, repeating this pattern over and over and over again. It's like distant abusive absent, or it's like they're withholding this because these people do not have any relationship with, as they say, their Babylon family. And
Right.
these people are
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Some people are just born to be narcissistic people, and there are children that are they're very manipulative and very narcissistic. So I can't agree with the fact that because she was taken out of her family, or she didn't have that family dynamic that she was looking for, that she developed that trait. She already had that trait within herself, because there's many people that go through even more, and I'm sorry to say it, but it's true, even more hurtful scenarios and situations that like that, and they don't end up like that. They don't let other people kiss their feet. They wouldn't feel comfortable with that.
no,
they
but
wouldn't
see,
be they wouldn't be feel
Hold on, because
comfortable.
I want to say this. I think both of you are making really good points. Bodie, what you had just said, the dynamic, the build up and the control that narcissists have over the narrative, I 100% agree with. Um, but I think what is happening is the issue that a lot of us, the viewers, are having, um, is that once you are off out of the spell, because Velvet says the spell has been broken. Whether or not that is true, whether or not she went to therapy, we don't know. But based on what she tells us, she says the spell has been broken. He cannot control her. He can't control her narrative anymore. And so she was
mhm.
given an opportunity to express who she truly is, on that panel. And all I saw, and what a lot of other people saw, was her breaking down the other women,
Right.
belittling them, humiliating them,
Right.
exposing things about the women that were
Mhm.
so inappropriate. You did
Right.
not need to tell anybody that Ra
Mhm.
and Honor and anybody else what was happening
Mhm.
to their bodies from what Nature
Mhm.
Boy did to them.
And I bet you if Rock came up there, she'd be like, "Oh, Rock, I'm so happy you're here. It's so
And
wonderful
and
Now,
to
my
talk
and
to
so
but
my
she
you."
didn't.
question my
I'm sorry.
question to you ladies is, why do you think that after all of the things that Velvet has done, both in and out of the cult, also the humiliation that she has, essentially put on these women, why do you think she has so many people supporting her?
Because
I mean,
in
and
in
still
her
understanding
mind,
her?
in her
Because
mind,
she's a good manipulator,
Hold on, one
like
person at a
Nature
time. I
Boy.
want I'm sorry. Bodie, you go first. Love letters, you can go second, and Ivy, I would love to hear you what you have to say.
Okay.
Because in reality, and what I mean by in reality, in there's there's different levels to trauma, and I'm telling you, Velvet hasn't even Velvet hasn't even licked the dust off of it. Because the trauma bond with, you know, she and I'm telling you, Velvet is still squatting, emptying her pot in the dirt. Because the trauma bond with that man over there outweighs the negative aspects of the relationship. The victims of physical abuse on average don't leave until after the seventh incident of violence. The only the fear, because I'm telling you, she still fears retaliation.
Mm.
It's not that I'm not saying that so fear, and I'm talking about real fear. When she goes to bed at night, she may be resting, but she's not asleep. So it's not only the loss of the emotional connection with that man. She can still feel the abuse, right?
I,
And
I,
so
I can't I can't agree with that. I'm sorry. I can't agree with that because just on the live today, she said that she was the only one who wasn't scared of Nature Boy.
but you
She
know
was
what?
the
Listen, because she was
Hold on. Can you let Love Letters finish, and because I want Ivy to have an opportunity to speak as well.
okay.
so
Go ahead, Love Letters.
she was just on the live saying I was the only one that I was fighting back with Nature Boy. I was the only one who was doing it. I was the only one that Nature Boy treated with the utmost respect. He didn't do me like he did y'all. He didn't do me like he did y'all. And crap. I was so pressed to say what I wanted to say that it slipped out of my mouth. Oh yeah, we were talking about how why is it that some people are still following her and and
Love Letters. Can you? I mean, Bodie. Can you mute yourself?
Yes.
um
How do I do that? Okay, I see it. Hold on.
Okay.
okay, so the reason is because she's got those same toxic characteristics that attract many people, just like those people you were talking about that have that pain and they go back to their abuser, right? Well, Velvet carries those same characteristics. Now we can see through those because we've overcome those challenges. However, there are many women that still relate to her and they don't see her as an abuser. They would see her
Mm.
like some people see Nature Boy. They're looking at her as somebody
Right.
who is like their savior, but in all real aspect, that's the person that's going to hurt them the most. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I
Interesting.
think that so many people still follow her, is because she still got that same like abuse
Ability to draw in.
ability to draw in people who
Yep.
have been or are victims. And a lot of
Yep.
times you listen to those women talk to Nature Boy or to her, and they talk about the abuse or the victimizations that they've experienced on their end of their spectrum. That's all I gotta say. Peace
Wow.
out.
She always leave and come back. You better not come back this time. Okay, go ahead, Ivy.
Okay, I wanted to add I want to say, to answer your question, she had the following she have because a lot of women are sitting back and they're very disgusted with your boy's actions, and they want justice served in any way, shape, or
Mm.
form. They don't care how they get it. So, like you was talking earlier about the narcissist story in Greek mythology, and in the story in the Greek mythology, it indicated that there was a goddess named Nemesis, right? She's the one who put the curse on Narcissus to go to the edge of the water and look at his reflection. All of these women are nothing more than a nemesis in Nature Boy's reality. People want him to stop what he's doing. That's why her support system is so huge. But in terms of codependency, let's talk about that. I wanted to really horn in on that. Her actions in itself is manipulation. Just because a person is codependent doesn't mean they don't have their own manipulation tactic.
Mm-hmm.
Manipulation on the scale of codependency, how it looks is for a narcissist will say, how can you serve me right? How can you serve me so that I benefit? And then a codependent is, how can I serve you so that I benefit, right? So
Mm.
it's the other end of the spectrum. And a codependent will use the same tools of manipulation to get their love source to get in line. So everything she was doing in the camp was to get him to get in line because she wanted him to have a monogamous relationship with her. So at all ends, no matter what, she would do anything to get him to be in line so she could have him for herself. Now, that doesn't really necessarily make her a very, very bad person. Trauma does that to just about any female. Any female is capable of using a level of manipulation to get her love interest to be just to herself. Think of any woman you would know who would just go to any lengths to get her man to be with just her and not other women. So on a full scale, the camp also has their own codependency. And there's also all kinds of codependency going on. But the tools that he uses is what get people to fall into codependency: the manipulation, the triangulation, the gaslighting. It goes on and on and on when it comes to being with a narcissist. Now, what she's doing now is what I would call being like a supernova. It serves as almost like, it looks narcissistic in the spectrum, but that's when I was in my relationship, that's how I acted. I had enough. I wanted to go to the hilltops and say, he's a horrible person. Whoever would listen, just listen to me. Okay? He's sick. He's crazy. And some people might have found that to be a little narcissistic. How dare you try to expose someone, right? But after being in a relationship with someone who put you through enough trauma, you want him to be destroyed at all costs. Not everybody's willing to do that, but some people are. That's how I feel about that situation.
Wow. Thank you for that
You're welcome.
perspective.
No problem.
Wow. And you just taught me a new word, supernova. I'm gonna look that up.
You do know that used to be her old, I forgot what website that was. Not website. It was her old, was it Instagram name? Supernova?
Yeah, I don't know. I've been
No,
only
her
following
it
this for a
used to be
short
like
time.
infinity or something like that.
Oh, okay. But see, it makes sense, her being a supernova, because you have to realize that supernova is pretty much a combination of all types of what we call empaths, right? And you could tell that by the way she was acting in the camp. Although she had levels of
But
manipulation,
people,
she still,
narcissists
she
can be empaths as well. You know that,
very
right?
much so. Very much so. That's why he's able to connect with empathic people. I would say
Mm.
he's more of a dark empath, but he's able to use that type of empathy, but it's false empathy. It's surface level. He knows how to work people in a way to
That's
get to
right.
their
Oh,
empathy, get to
somebody's
the
coming.
core.
Let me go ahead. Keep going.
sorry, get to the core of themselves so that he can use it for his benefit. Okay, but she showed clear signs of a combination of many empathies as far as I was concerned, right? Being one with the earth, intuitive, emotional, all those empathies, a combination of all that makes you a super empath. But then when you are tired and fed up and you've been traumatized by a narcissist, you transcend to a supernova, and it really looks narcissistic at the end of the day. You like
Wow.
you at no end, you will go to no end to really destroy a person.
Ivy, you are on fire. Let me just say that. I appreciate so much your input. I'm so glad you
No
came up.
problem.
We
No
have a
problem.
new person, a new guest on the panel. Three kids and me. Would you like to be called something while you up here or
No,
um
for kids and me, it's fine.
okay. So welcome. You can, if you feel like you can tell me a little bit about your background and just give me a little bit of how you're feeling. Um,
In terms of my
Based on the
background,
conversation that we're having.
regarding carbonation, I think I've been following these guys, or I learned of these guys. Maybe I think it's going on 4 years now, and probably like a lot of people, I'm tooling around YouTube and Google or whatever, and typing in cults, and then it came up, into my recommendations, and I was instantly disturbed by what was going on. Um, One thing I have to say, at the time when I entered, like the quote unquote conversations amongst the many channels, these people were talking about this is a show. This is fake. This is scripted. Do you know how long it took for me to get these people to understand that this is not fake? This is real. These people are being controlled. And they're like, no, 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 it's not a cult. But, enough conversations with them bit by bit. And now they understand, oh, this is real. And I'm like, yeah. So now I think it's a wonderful thing that you all are having this conversation about the workings of a cult leader who are typically narcissistic or sociopathic narcissists in some form of other. But what needs to happen is that we're having this very informative conversation amongst a few when in all earnest, this conversation has to be broadened. And I'm just going to say, because I am not an authority on this, I just know a lot about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you women are having the conversation that really needs to be brought into um other channel holders to get this information out. I don't know how that could be done. If you can collaborate with other people, but this information really needs to be out there.
Right.
And right now, and if you listen to the conversations that are being had on Velvet's panels, people don't understand what's going on. And it's like once they get the information, they will see it. Their perceptions they will come about from an informed perspective.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know if like you can on the back end get in contact with Velvet and bring these two lovely ladies with you
My
and
channel
have that.
not big enough. No, but I've invited people. I've invited um the ex-wife Maisha. I've invited several other people. And it's okay. People choose to go where they want to go.
But
Um,
but but what I'm saying, the importance of this it doesn't. I mean, just from where I stand, I don't care where. I don't. It might not be able to be had on your platform,
right, right.
right? And so you might have to go over to someone else's platform
Mhm.
to talk about this. I just had like a little snippet of a conversation with Velvet because you probably you ladies have heard of Steve Hansen, right? um Steve Hansen, and he has a book titled uh um Combating Cult Mind Control, right? And
Okay.
he also has the bite model, which is like the scoring system that helps you identify what's called highly controlled groups, which is what
Okay.
this is. So um like I said, I only know a little bit, but we've got to expand the conversation. And I did bring up with Velvet, I suggested those books, and she seemed very open to receiving that information. You understand what I'm saying? So if any of you all are willing to you know, pop up over in her on her big old platform or DM her and have a private conversation, which I think she'd be willing to have, and let her hear a bit of what is being said. I think the girl would be receptive to hearing this information, and then we can expand this information amongst the community, because a lot of times we are approaching this thing um uh, from a place of lack of knowledge, right?
Right.
So that's I am just so happy to have found a set of people that I can talk about this stuff in this manner, because it seems like other times people are just like, yeah, 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 whatever, whatever. I don't want to hear that. Let me hype it up, and this person's talking about this, that, and the other, and I'm just sitting there like in distress, because these young people's lives are being ruined
Mhm.
by a very vile, feckless man. So
Thank you. I thank you, three kids. That was, that was encouraging, because like you said, I'm still waiting on other channels to talk about it, and sometimes you just get a little fed up, and so you decide I'm going to be what I want to see. Um
You're on Beagle, yeah?
no, I'm not on Bigo.
Maybe
Right. Go ahead. Yeah.
I have a I have a Beagle I was gonna say a Beagle challenge. I have a Beagle channel, but I do um I do like, you know, other stuff that's totally unrelated to
Well,
this.
I have a big old, whatever, whatever. I am more than willing to offer the platform to
Do
have
it.
this
I would say do it. If you guys can do
information
it,
and bring
yes,
you all with me to begin to talk about this in these terms.
I'm
absolutely.
friends with Velvet on Beagle.
I
Then
think if you guys can have this conversation, you ladies are very knowledgeable, very well spoken, so you'll be able to get your point across. I think if if this, and the people in the comments, you guys, I have 23 people in the live right now.
mhm.
If you feel like this live has been beneficial, share it. Not share it, the live itself, but share the conversation. Um,
Yeah, but
develop
you're
it.
also you have a really
Right.
like yeah, you're really good on this. You're really
I like your approach. I
yeah.
like your voice, the tone and timbre and how you speak is very welcoming, it's very affirming, it's not off-putting cuz I'll get like super excited and it'll seem like I'm yelling at people when I'm not. I don't know, that's just the army captain in me. I'm going to take charge. So to balance that with voices like yourself and the other women, then it won't seem like, okay, this is this is my three kids, and she's gonna have a lot to say. She's not gonna shut up until she gets it all out. Well, no, that's not really a very good way, and that's my limitation, and I'm
Right.
willing to say that to bring along other people to get the information out, to balance my energy, I guess you could say.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Hmm.
If I ever get a Bigo, I was Googling Bigo, like how to use it and everything. I'm a person who likes to do a little bit of research, a lot of research actually. Rafiq Turner, welcome, welcome. Chief Peanut Nola, welcome. But I have to do more research to figure out how it works, because I'm learning that Bigo is, first of all, it's Chinese owned, and I have a little bit of issue with the way certain things are run.
You know
Um
what? The Chinese has all our information in the cloud. We just
oh yes,
sold it to them.
absolutely.
We just.
Um and then I found out, I'm learning about how the beans and all of that stuff works, and it's really exploitive to the African American community, black community, melanated, whatever you identify as. It's a very
Mhm.
it's a very exploitative platform.
I
And
feel you on that. Mhm.
yeah,
I agree, and I hear what you're saying. But if this is the tool that the devil is using, we don't have to pick up those tools and alchemize them, as Nature Boy says. You
mhm.
know, and use
Right.
what is meant for bad and turn it into something good.
Mm.
Right.
That's very interesting. Well, thank you so much. You are welcome to drop down if you want to. I want to see a male's perspective, if that's okay. I know I have an almost entirely female audience right now, but I'm hoping that one of my males, either Chief Peanut Nola, who has his own channel, could come up, or Rafiq
Ooh,
Turner.
I like his channel.
I
Okay,
love
bam.
his channel.
Mhm.
I love his channel so much. He's so knowledgeable. He has been married for 21 years. Um, and so he has a very good insight on a lot of things. He preaches self identity, specifically understanding who you are um, genetically, whether you're Aborigine, your location of your ancestors. So he's very knowledgeable. He has his, his own little space. But he is amazing. Please check out his channel. There are other channels that I do want to give a shout out to before let me just put that link in real quick. Other channels that I want to give a shout out to. Ladies, if you enjoyed this uh live, if you like this panel, I'm so grateful that the people who came up, they taught me some things. But there are other channels that are really good, and they are Tony T. You can check her out. We have Sweet Ma. We have the T. The T is where I get all of my information, almost all of my information. Fundi Fee, she does commentary. Stinson has the soup, I think it is, or the scoop. Um, I'm not sure Kiss the Bell is on YouTube, but she's definitely on Instagram. And then Dr. Amir, please check out those channels.
I,
Really good
I'm gonna drop down, but I just wanted to thank you for letting me up on your panel. But in order for me to share, I have to drop off the panel. But I wanted to thank you so much for being so kind. And I really, every time I'm like even in the comments or catching the live like later, I really, really, pray over your channel, and I hope that it grows, and I really, really hope that it reaches everybody who's able to get the message that you put out, because you have such a positive channel. And honestly, this is like to my core. I really hope that it grows at the speed that the tea grows, and even more, because you have such a positive vibe. And I bless your family, bless your husband, and bless
Thank you.
everything that you do, because you have such a great energy, and I know that you're doing this for the right reason.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Oh, child, don't do
I
it.
agree.
Thank you.
I agree as well. I'm going to go ahead and drop down so other people could come up and share. And I thank you for letting me be part of your panel tonight. And this is the only channel that I found really getting down to information and understanding. And I thank you for everything you're adding to the community about this and
Oh,
awareness.
and thank you for adding to the conversation. All right, Ivy, and Bodie, appreciate it. Hello, hello, Peanut Nola, welcome.
Halito, Halito.
Halito, I'm gonna look. See, I'm learning, so I gotta figure out what that even means.
Greetings.
Okay.
It's absolutely my. I sat back and I just enjoyed. I be in the bushes. I actually enjoyed your panel, and I think you are growing. I watch you. Come from the. You just like I told you before. It reminds me of myself. Your information is beautiful. You just keep doing what you're doing. I was in the nature boy sector.
I remember.
Um, like I've done a couple of videos in the past, but it kind of drained me because I've seen so many people who don't want him taken down. So it's there's a lot of people that are making money off of Nature Boy. Okay, so they may tell you that they want him gone, but they really don't. Some people,
Mhm.
really want this guy to stay around. Okay, so it's a lot of it's a lot of complication. I watched him when he was with Melanation. I remember when Crystal Hill, Jazzy G, and
Mhm.
several
Right.
other Fundi Fee and
Yep.
some of the beginning people that I watched from the beginning, that was covering Nature Boy, Ashe Divine, so many people, and I watch it change through the couple of years with him. You know what I'm saying? So it's just the to speak of Nature Boy is to speak of darkness,
Right.
you know. And I just hate the fact that he calls himself a chief. Um, and to me, he's a dictator. He's definitely a serious cult leader that's actually destroying our community. He's a man that have sex with men and women. He's polluting the men as much as he polluting the women. Okay, so the community really has to get rid of this guy, because guess what I want to tell you, sis? You got to realize that all the women that he has messed with still coming back to America.
Right, right.
So
And they
are
bring
we
in that
talking about the
mindset, and
treatment?
hmm, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just asking you, do we talk about, the treatments of the ladies when they come back or when they leave and they come back to the States, or do we talk about the fact that they meet other people once
That's
they
right.
do leave Nature Boy and they are giving multiple diseases to multiple people? And do we talk about these things? Do we talk about the effects of Nature Boy when they leave Nature Boy?
That's right. And remember, a lot of them have children there, or have
Yeah,
children from by someone there. And so, what happens to those children? What happens to the mind state of those children and the people who come into contact with them? The, the STDs that are being passed around. What do we do with all of this information? What do we do with the idea that even though they go to this place that they think that they're going to be there forever, they eventually, all of them, every last one who has stepped on in his compound, wherever it is, they eventually become back to the rest of society. And that's a problem, absolutely.
yeah, that's they're gonna, these people mentally. You got to think about it. Look at the people that he has recruited through the years.
Mm,
You got to think about ex-military people.
mm,
He has dealt with ex-military people who has been kicked out of the military due to
mm-hmm,
mental parts about them. See, we don't talk about some of these people who are messed up in the head. Okay,
mm-hmm.
so he's controlled. He's getting their checks. He's getting this man is an opportunist. This man is taking all their money. You have to give up everything to go to Nature Boy, and that's a lot of people don't understand how dangerous this guy can truly be to melanated people. He's very dangerous. His words, he don't give a damn what he say on on um on social media. He does not care. And he's having sex online. He's having sex online. It's amazing that some of these like Instagram and some of these networks will put you in timeout but won't do nothing against this
Okay,
code.
okay. And see, and then, based on the conversation that we had on the panel and the topic, we were talking discussing Velvet and whether or not she is a narcissist or has narcissistic characteristics. Did she have them before or after? And what's interesting that you just said is, you know these people were already messed up. But think about what is happening to them when they leave. Think about what's happening to them when they come back. All the issues that they brought, and then come back with more.
Yeah, I was thinking about the breakdown that you did. It kind of it just really reached in inside me, and I didn't realize how powerful Nature Boy was
Very.
until I saw like that video that you made when you were talking about the men of carbonation, and it irked my soul. It irked my soul, and it's just like me as I advocate. I'm a activist in my community.
Yes,
I
sir.
fight for my people. This is just what I do. And to see what this man is doing to corrupt the people. We talk about conscious community, and how could you be conscious in listening to such a demon? You know what I'm saying? And he does not talk to alpha males. He does not talk to people like myself. Okay, I had my run-in with him before, and he backed down like a scary punk because he said that I'm getting my information from people that hate him. And we had, I straight up called him out for some of the stuff that he has done, and he does not do well with strong men that challenge him. He does not do well at all. So the thing is, you know this thing has been going on for a very long time, and is becoming more dangerous as we go. We have some great conscious community, people who have been covering this for a very long time.
Mhm.
I give them all props, every last one of you guys, no matter who it is or who doing it, but who brought light to this, every last one of them. Okay. I just put myself, it's hard, I come in and support the people that I know that are righteous. I support the people that I know that are righteous. Okay. And you are doing an excellent job. You're doing an excellent job. I mean, you're taking us to another different outlook, and I know you give props to the T and everybody else, but you it's time for you to look at yourself as your knowledge is actually excellent the way you're doing things. Okay. Okay, so the way your commentary, you're not showing videos, that's awesome. Cause I that's the way I do things. I commentary. I don't want nobody, saying I'm taking the information. I commentary. So most of the times that's what I do. I might show a video of a something, that has to do with our science. But recording people, I don't do too much of that. But you're
And
doing an
it
excellent
look,
job.
it takes away when you record. Now you're. I feel like because Nature Boy is so toxic. If I display him, if I share him, he's in the thoughts of my viewers, and I don't know. I just feel like it'll take away from what it is that the point that I want to make is that it's not about him. He wants us to think it's about him. He wants us to embellish over whatever it is that he wants us to embellish over, whether it's his looks or his personality. And it's not about him, it's about the victims that he has created and how we
Somebody
can separate the two.
That's right. Somebody in your
The
chat
ones
said I sound like Steve Harvey. She must have. La la la. She don't. She. Who? Hello.
no, you don't.
La
no,
la.
oh no, no.
Tell her. Tell her she must have never really heard me go on.
Oh, who is this? Real? Okay.
Yeah.
Nikki, are you leaving out? Are you going to bed?
Huh?
I'm going. Is somebody who wants to come up? Is there
Yeah.
anything you want to share? I have a question for you. Are you going to stay up for a few minutes? Few more minutes?
You talking me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay up for a little bit.
Okay. I have a question. I just want to see who is this person. Hello, real.
Hey, how y'all doing? Didn't mean to interrupt.
Welcome, welcome.
Hey, just catching y'all show real quick. First of all, shout out to you and everybody on the panel. I just wanted to get up here and kind of give my perspective because I've been kind of online being entertained by this Nature Boy stuff a lot. And the gentleman
real.
that's on here
Sorry,
with you,
real. Are you a male?
yes, I am.
Okay, great. Because I have a question I was going to ask Peanut, but I'll ask both of you guys. So go ahead, finish
Okay,
talking.
I just kind of want to say something. You can ask me that because I'm actually working. I'm about to I just kind of want to go in on something. He said something that kind of made a lot of sense, I guess, a few minutes ago. I think the gentleman was saying how he doesn't really have any nature boy don't really have any alpha males around him, so on and so forth. But the one thing I do kind of notice, okay, I notice everybody they get down on nature boy, and I'm not saying that the dude, is not doing anything wrong or he ain't got some crazy ways in which he go about certain things. But I'm wondering at what point do we hold the grown people who chose to hang out, chose to take their time, chose to take their money, grown men and grown women, and go over there and hang out with this guy. Because I'm looking at it like, okay, I can see if it's children over there. The children, I would feel bad for. I'm sorry, I have a hard time feeling bad for a grown person. And like people was wondering why the government won't lock him up. Well, first of all, how am I going to lock him up? What is going to be his charge when I figure out an adult chose to sleep with him, an adult chose to come there, an adult chose to hang out with him. He did not kidnap them. They got on a plane. They make up stuff. They choose to stay. They leave and they come back. People can look at it and say, well, he's telling them to
I
say that.
love that
Okay,
answer your question as soon as you let me answer that. Go ahead.
all right. I'm gonna wrap it up. So basically, at the end of the day, we dealing with adults now that are choosing to live a certain life. Some people like the abuse for whatever reason they may like it. Some people come from different backgrounds, but to me, I'm just entertained by them. I don't feel bad for
Mm,
those grown ups. You know what I'm saying? I would feel bad for the kids. And two, and I noticed nobody ever mentioned the men over there. They only talk about the women over there when The women chose to go there just like the men chose to go. And I'm gonna go ahead and pass the mic. Whoever want to say something about it.
Okay, yeah, please don't go nowhere.
Real, don't go, don't leave. Because I also want to talk to you. Do not
Yeah.
leave. It's a safe space.
Okay, I don't know how long you've been watching this, but I've been watching this for over 4 years, probably almost gone. Yeah, it's about 4 years of this. Okay, I want you to understand that if this was white people,
Thank you.
okay,
Yes.
I just want you to understand, my brother. If this was white people, he would have been in jail by now. Okay, I want you to understand they want our people to look a fool. They don't mind our this. See, they don't care about the women, our melanated women. They don't care about the abuse that's going on when it comes down to our people. Now, you're talking about a man who has allowed a dog to lick his shit. Now, you got, excuse my French, but you also got a man who also let his son play with his penis. Now, I don't find it entertaining that I would allow a man like that to stand around. Yes, they have people who have came to carbonation on their own will, but you got to understand the mental health part of these people. And some of these people are 17. Some of them came when they were 17 years old. Some of them came when they
18
were
and
18,
mhm.
almost to 20 or to 20 something years old. For those who have children, knows that a 21-year-old, 22-year-old mind is not all the way developed. Okay, so I don't, I can't say now. This is not like these are 30-year-old women,
Right.
40-year-old women. We're talking about young women who are not developed.
Amen.
Okay,
Amen. These are boys who lost their fathers. These are, for instance, see, unfortunately, whatever channels you've been watching, they don't talk about the males as much. But if you listen to the stories of these members who are entrapped in this situation in this cult, you would know that a lot of them suffer from mental illness. A lot of them have the males have lost fathers and have no father figures, and so Nature Boy appeals to them as a father figure. And so part of the manipulation of, and he is a narcissist. Now we could argue all day about anybody else, but he is for sure 100% a narcissist. And part of the tactic of a narcissist is to relate to your trauma, is to take whatever it is that you are feeling, that you have experienced, and manipulate that, to take that and coerce you into doing things that you wouldn't necessarily do. That is why these types of people are called cult leaders, because they have found a way to manipulate the masses or a large number of people. And so what people don't understand is he preys on adolescents and adolescent adults. If you know anything about adolescents, real, you know the most vulnerable adults are the ones who are just becoming adults. 18, 19, 20, even 21. Adolescence actually doesn't stop until about 24, 25. And so, and that's why you don't see hardly anyone there who's over a certain age unless they have a mental illness.
Eliana, I was looking in your chat. Eliana is just as worse as Nature Boy, or probably worse. Okay, I've been saying that for years, but you have to understand that that Eliana has father issues and mother issues. She's been having
Yes,
that.
a lot of them
She's
do. Yep.
a lot of issues
Yeah.
with that young lady. A lot of
Yeah. Can I?
issues.
Yeah. Can I?
Okay,
Can I?
real. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. I totally no. I totally understand. I get all that. But what I'm going at the end of the day, I understand all that when we say that these are young adults. The key word I'm looking at the same way the courthouse gonna look at it, adults. You know what I'm saying?
But if you know
Now,
anything about cults, a person in
yeah,
their 40s can be victimized and
Yeah, they
can
could be
I know that.
actually have
manipulated.
taste.
No, let me say something real quick. Let me say something.
Okay.
I get that. I know some people that's been involved in a cult that that's different in his quote unquote code or whatever it is. So I've known relatives that's in kumbaya with certain black folks quote unquote leadership, whatever you want to call it. But going back to him and his game that he's running on the people that choose to participate in it. It's kind of like, yes, I get it. He's running game. He's not
It's
about
not the
this,
same
that, and third. He's telling. I get that. I get that aspect of it.
though.
But what I'm still kind of pointing out, and I agree with you on the fact of that these were quote unquote white people that they would probably do something. Yes, we all
They
know.
have done something real. You have to. I'm going to just say this. Please do it a little bit more research, okay? Because there have been white members, and
Members.
those white members,
Yes, it started
um,
off in melanation with white members. Go ahead.
and,
Yeah, I
and
know.
with,
I've seen him. I've seen him. I've
it
seen him.
started with the Ethereans. They were called the Ethereans even before melanation, and they had white members, and those white members um had the family members of the white members were able to reach the news. There's a BBC documentary on them where one of the females in particular, her parents, they were from Canada. Her family went and demanded the United States or wherever they were, Belize, demanded that this girl go home, and she was in her 20s, demanded that that girl go home, and they called a girl in the article, or there would be problems. And guess what happened? She went home, and they made that BBC documentary specifically to protect that white girl.
That's
Okay, they
right.
called her Sunray. I don't know what her real name was. And then I watched an update on this young lady. Okay, and yes, she had a mental illness, and people understood that. And when you if you see the problem with melanated communities, African American communities, black communities, however you want to identify yourself, the problem we have is we throw our children away the moment they get to
We do.
this so-called
Melanated
legal
people
age.
don't care about melanated people. Me as an Aborigine man of
Aborigine.
this land, I have been stating this for a very long time. I have we just don't give a damn. If it's us, we don't give a damn. But when them people,
That's true. And I want to go back. I want to piggyback off some. I didn't mean to interrupt. But okay, keywords you said. A lot of us don't care about us because I also had the liberty, like I said, I see how they interact with him when they running their game on the internet. I
Mhm.
also heard his story on how he was traumatized, and I could tell me from watching all of them, I can tell they all have had some kind of trauma. Even him, I'm gonna go as far as
Right.
say I believe that he needs some sort of help instead of people trying to throw him to the jail. I believe black people should stick together. As we just got finished saying, black folks throw each other away. Well, instead of us trying to throw him in jail, let's get together and try to throw him some help. I want to say that first
Yeah,
and foremost. And the second thing I would like to say is, okay, I get it. These people have issues. They've chose to kind of come over there. The white folks save their folks at the end of the day. But in a strange sort of way, there's still a lot of women out there. You have to understand this too now. There are a lot of women out there that are still infatuated with him because when I listen to the calls that come in and speak to him, I can listen to how they act like they dislike him, but I can tell they intrigued. And the other issue is a lot of these guys that follow him around, they download all of his content. They talk about him 24/7. I believe in my heart strongly. They don't per se care. They got a slick jealousy because they view this brother as a guy who gets the women, and these guys probably don't hardly get no women coming to their channel and get respect that he gets or whatever it is. So I think that the guys are slick jealous, and some of the women more so are intrigued with this guy, despite how quote unquote bad he's supposed to be. But the whole thing is, I feel like all of them people should be lobbying to get all of them help. But the one thing about getting someone help, you can't make somebody get help that doesn't want it. So if he says he doesn't want to change and he's not going to get any help, you can't make him. If those young men and women over there say that they don't want to help, they don't want to get help, they don't want to change their views, they don't want to stop doing what they're doing, hanging outside, hanging by the tree. Unfortunately, there's nothing nobody can really do about that but feel bad for them and just
well,
just kind of.
my brother, when they start affecting other people in the community, you got to remember when they do leave carbonation, they go out into the world. They're coming back to America. They're coming back into the streets. So them people who are infected by him are infecting your daughter,
I was
infecting
going to
your
say I
niece.
don't want. That's part of the reason I was getting ready to say it. I'm glad you said it because that was coming next. That's all the more reason I would not want them to leave. Because let's just be real. I'm gonna just give
Who
you
they
my
want to
real.
leave? You want to know why they
I'm gonna
leave?
give you my
Real,
real perspective
leave.
now.
Hold on. I mean, real. Give me 1 second. The
Yeah,
reason they leave is because he kicks them out when he is done with them. You understand what I'm saying to you? If you have a child, if you have a son, if you have a daughter, okay, you have to understand that he is a predator. He teaches those children. I'm gonna call them children. He teaches those children of somebody. He teaches them that their parents are not really their parents and they should abandon them. He manipulates. See, I don't think you know what I think you need to do a lot more research before you make the statements that you make, because he has sexually transmitted diseases for a fact. That's not hearsay. That is a fact. He has
but has
sexually
anybody seen
transmitted.
paperwork with these sexually transmitted
Yes,
diseases? Does Eliana
yes.
have any sexually? Does
Hey,
Eliana
Yes.
have it?
You want to know the
my brother,
paperwork?
they got a young lady, bro. Young lady who vagina, bro, was leaking, bro, and she.
She's in the
Oh
there's
my
a
God,
female right now in the
one lady was
hospital.
dying.
There's a female in a hospital who, because he messed up her organs,
You talking about
and
Malia?
the family, listen, give me a second. The
Mm-hmm.
family members of this woman, she's refused hospice, but she was um s- getting ready to be sent to hospice, if you know what hospice is.
I
The
It's
understand what
the,
it
family
is.
the
members of this young girl,
Mm-hmm.
okay, said that she has syphilis, she has chlamydia,
Mm.
hepatitis C,
Oh wow.
oh
okay?
my goodness.
Just just to name a few, just to name the things that they were able to find out by the doctors. These are her family members, aunts, uncles, I mean aunts, sister, cousins. These are her family members who have this information.
Oh
Okay?
Yeah, they
wow.
went
And
public with it. They
and
definitely went
they
public.
went public with it. So that you cannot dispute or deny that. That is not deniable. That is not disputable. The issue is that this young lady was kicked out by him when he was done with her. He took $30,000 from her, and then once he got the money, he discarded her. That's what narcissists do. He discarded her. He put her back into the community with nothing, and then she's literally, her organs have shut down. Okay, if you have a child, if you have a daughter, any human being who would risk the life of another human being, of the one you produced, the one you created, you would want to see them go to jail. You would want to see them suffer for the crimes that they have committed. Fraud is a crime that's punishable by imprisonment. Death is a crime. He told a woman who not to take her medication because he could heal her, and when
That's
she
correct.
stopped taking her medication, the woman died. That is a crime. Whether you want to believe it or not, we have to stop looking at people only for the surface, which
Yep.
is the color of their skin. The saying, everybody who and what is it? Every skin folk and kin folk,
All skin folks, not kin folks.
and that applies. You have to have discernment. You have to look at every aspect of this situation. You can't say, "Oh, it's a black man. I'm a black man. We gotta protect
But see,
each
that's
other."
what that's what you're saying is what. Why do we all think that we're the same?
We have to look into the spirit of a person. And real,
Go
I
ahead, sis.
need you. I really, 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 really need you to do a lot more research before you decide to hang your coat up on these people, and not call them victims, which they are. I need you to do your research before you get behind this man, because a lot of the problem here is that people are supporting him without doing the research. He just had a fallout with somebody on Bigo. I don't know if you're familiar with the Bigo stuff. He just had a fallout with someone, and that individual said, "I wanted to support him because I seen that there were a lot of people tearing him down in the community, and so I wanted to support him as another black man." But as a black man, isn't your duty also to take care of your community? Isn't your duty also to protect the women in that community? And when
Hey,
you see
they're
somebody
not
who's
even
not, you
protecting the
have to
other
ask.
men. Even the other men not
Exactly.
being protected.
We have to
Well,
something Nikki said, we have to exercise empathy, but we have to exercise empathy to the right person. You if you think of the people who exercise empathy to Jeffrey Dahmer. Think about the people who exercise empathy to Charles Manson. What side do you want to be on? Do you want to be the side of protection, the side of light, to end something so toxic that it is killing people? There's a baby who just died. You yourself, real. You yourself said, I can understand if it was kids there. There were kids there. There are kids there right now. There's a child there being abused every day. There are children who have died. There's births that have not been. We still don't know what happened to one young girl's baby after she gave birth. You want to know why? Because they never sent her to the doctors. We don't even know what happened to that child.
oh, well.
So, real, I need you to do some thorough research before you stand behind someone who would manipulate you if they had the opportunity.
Well, to piggyback off that, I'm not standing beside them or standing against them or none of that. It's just me looking at it like from an objective standpoint of view. Like I said, like when the way I even found out about who this guy
Hmm.
was because so many people on the internet is just putting his stuff up there. They putting his videos up there, and like the gentleman on your panel stated, he believes, even in his opinion, some of these people don't want him to go nowhere because guess what? That's the end of them. Because when I look through their archives, guess what they're not doing? Discussing anything else in life. They're not telling you anything about them. Everything is about him, him, him. Okay, we get it now. So the way that works when you do that is, okay, it'll make some people not want to go there, but I believe the people that's not going to go there, the same minded people, that's not into this sort of type of thing anyway. I think the people that end up hanging around people like him or whatever they doing in life with certain other individuals, I believe, like, it's just my opinion now. We don't need those people in society anyway, because let me just be honest. I wouldn't feel safe with any of his women, or quote unquote, coming back here to the Americas because guess what? I wouldn't want none of my male cousins to meet them because, for one, I understand. I believe before they even got around that dude, they had to have had something growing up in their mind that was messed up to a certain degree anyway. And they probably got even more messed up once they got around them. So if we bring those folks back over here and those males back over here, I mean, you got to ask yourself, like, do we really want them even interacting with your relatives and other people in America? So that's
So
part
where
of the
they
reason
supposed
I
to
said
go?
he can
Real,
keep them.
real. Where they
Yeah,
supposed to go when he kick them out? You tell me. Where
the
they
hell
supposed
if
to
I
go?
know, long as they're not near me.
But that's the issue that we're having, because when he kicks them out, he don't care where they go. You don't care where they go, and guess where they end up? Back in the same community, spreading whatever it is that they have. Okay, and so that is why a lot of people are trying to stop them. I 100% agree with you. There are some people who are doing this specifically just to make money, or whatever it is they get fame or whatever. Okay, just come right in. Um, Pina Nola, come right in, Chief. There are people who are, who want to profit off of this, and then there are people who are really fighting to end this cycle of abuse, to end this passing, and I mean, think about the AIDS epidemic, right? Do you
Mm-hmm.
remember that?
Yeah, it was off the chain.
Okay, think about the AIDS epidemic. Think about the crack epidemic. Those were all planted in our communities to destroy our communities. And the government did nothing. The government did nothing. And so when you look at the things that this man is doing, that's why I say you have to do your research. When you look at the things this man is doing and you realize the government is doing nothing, that you should start questioning what is really happening.
Well, I mean,
Um
I pretty much already have the understanding that they're not going to get involved with something like that. But see, my whole thing is right. Okay, let's say he stops doing what he's doing, or he goes away, or whatever the case may
Hold on,
be.
hold
Right?
on, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm gonna
Okay.
let you talk. I just want you to hear this real quick.
Okay.
Not now says, Go watch YouTube videos on cults. He took advantage of inexperienced young folks, and that's what I encourage you to do. Okay, but go ahead, continue.
Okay. So yeah, I've trust me, I know about codes. So I've already, I'm just kind of being objective down the line.
Okay.
But okay, let's just say he stops tomorrow, or he goes away, falls off the cliff, whatever the case may be, right?
Mhm.
All right. It still does not end per se. I mean, what he's doing is online, but
Right.
you still have a group. Let me finish it real quick. You still have a group of men and women who are master manipulators in society, amongst others, that mess over people as they wake up every day, but they're not putting it online publicly. They're a little bit more discreet with their activities and their behavior patterns towards other humans. So how do we address that? Because there's somebody right now, and the reason I wasn't so feeling so bad, allow me to fully explain once again. The reason I wasn't feeling so bad because when I sit there and I look at them grown ups on the younger, not I see adults.
Mhm.
There's a child out there, or there's a woman out there, or a guy out there that has been kidnapped at gunpoint.
Yeah.
Hold on, real quick.
Yeah, but my brother, there's children in his camp.
Yeah, what I was gonna say. Hold on, let me. Yeah, I'm gonna get back to that.
We're not talking about the babies that's sitting there.
No. I'm gonna get back to that. I wasn't done saying what I was saying. We would get. I got you, brother. Um, there's people that are walking around that's being forced at gunpoint to be places they don't want to be. Women that's being forced straight up, strong armed, and forced against their will to be in the presence of someone that they don't want to be in the presence of. So when I look at all of that stuff, and I just listen to people who got on a plane. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying. You're saying some true stuff. Yes, that's messed up. These people are going to come out one day and going to mess up the community. I do believe they will come out and touch facets of the community for people that's not aware of who those individuals are. That's the sad part about it. But me personally, just looking at them like, come on now, they grown. My heart goes out to that woman walking up the street who somebody forced her against her will, who didn't want to be somewhere. Some idiot snatches her and puts her in a car and holds her somewhere. She's trying to go, but this idiot won't let her go.
So
Not someone who.
how do you feel about the prostitute, the woman prostitute who was lured into the sex industry by a pimp? How do you feel about that woman? Because based on what you're saying is you only feel empathy for someone who is
Well, me
physically.
me understanding, me kind of learning, and I've met women that win their lifestyle, met guys that pimp women and so on and so forth. But the misconception also when it comes to that a lot of people have about pimps, they think pimps make hoes be hoes when hoes was already hoes and they chose.
I'm not going. I'm not. I do want to state that I'm not going to use that term. We're not going to use that term for the women.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
okay. I guess we're gonna call them something, another word for what
We're
they
gonna
really
call
are.
them women. We're gonna call them women.
Okay, well, I
Okay.
can't call those kind of women, but
Well, my brother,
Then I put you
women.
on the wrong panel.
I'm pretty much sure these women had bad circumstances in their life that made them go into that lifestyle. They didn't. A lot of people who's not fortunate to have a mother and a father that's actually out there leading them in the right direction. We're trying to stop this man from being online so he will not influence others. Should he be online? Should he be on Instagram? Should he be on YouTube? Should he be out here showing some of the things that he's doing? Hell no. So that's
neither
what
should
we're
our
talking
rappers.
about. So he won't affect other people's children.
I agree with you, but neither should our rappers either. To be honest with you, I agree he shouldn't, and the rappers
What?
shouldn't either.
You know what?
Rappers.
Yeah,
Um,
So
but
with
I'm
that,
gonna get off.
Wait,
I'm
wait,
gonna let
wait,
y'all
wait, wait,
kind of
wait,
have
wait,
it.
wait, 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 wait,
But
wait,
hold
I'm
wait,
a.
wait.
But this
What
was
is
a great
wait, wait?
discussion. I got to kind of
So
get back.
all rappers not all
hold on,
rappers.
'cause I think hold
My
on.
brother, all
Even though
rappers
I
are
think
not.
I
I'm
think
trying
real
to
is
figure
getting
this
ready to
out.
drop down. So I knew that was going to happen.
yeah.
I was trying to inform you that he was getting ready to drop down. Some people can, they say spew very hurtful things and can't handle the the response that other people have. I knew that was going to happen. But
What rappers got to do with this? All rappers not. I
We have
don't
some
know.
people.
And
Welcome, three kids. Welcome back. Welcome back.
he's a perfect example of why I say the the information, this kind of stuff,
For
speaking in
sure.
terms of educating what really a cult is and how it operates,
Yep.
and who is, likely to join a cult, what circumstances cause someone to join a cult, who, what kind of personality becomes a cult leader. That's why I say he's the perfect example of, you have to put the information out there. If they choose not to take that on as truth and they continue on with their thought, how they think about things, then we've done our part. And that's why I asked that gentleman to go. All you got to do is look around the internet on YouTube, and you'll find all kinds of things on
And that's how you know he
exactly
hasn't
what
done.
cults are. It-
And that's how you know he hasn't done any research at all, because of
right.
the statements he made. I know for a fact he saw a couple of videos and decided, oh, we're crucifying an innocent person who might have a little bit of issues. And unfortunately, he probably won't do any research. So, um, those types of people, you have to just allow them to experience whatever it is they're going to experience on their own, and hope that, you know eh, their loved ones aren't met with some trauma.
Well, I can say this. Like I said, coming into this sector and finding out about carbonation, and when I first entered the conversation, I encountered a lot of people like him, and
Mm,
and time after time, I would go back to platforms to say, and no, that's not what's happening. This is what's happening, and they poo-poo me off, and I give it a couple of months, and then I come right back with, no, this is what's happening. And it has taken, I'm serious, it has taken like 2 years, and I finally hear in conversations, this is a cult, this is real. So I know their minds can be changed, their
mhm,
perspectives can be changed.
mhm.
We just got to spread the message. we,
Absolutely.
we've got to spread the
Absolutely.
message. Um and those kids are no different than all those young people who were, they were radicalized by ISIS when they got recruited, all these young people in America and everywhere else
Absolutely.
to
And
fly over.
just kids even in our own communities who end up in gangs.
It's the same
People
thing.
have to understand that it's just broadcasted on the internet. That's it.
Right. It's and that's why I compare it to ISIS, because that's what they did. That's how they got
Yep.
all these kids to go over there and fight for the Taliban.
Yep.
I'm still baffled. What are you talking about? Rappers? All rappers don't
Yeah.
talk dirty.
Exactly. And your son is an example.
And
That's what I'm talking.
Okay.
I, I don't understand that, man.
no,
I
Okay.
you
Full of sports.
prejudging everybody.
you can't understand.
Full of
It's
sports is in here. I think we're gonna wrap it up pretty
I'm
soon, but
dropped
I want to
down.
hear
I'm
what Full
dropped
of
down.
Sports has to say.
All right.
Welcome.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm
How y'all
good. It's
doing?
good to hear, male perspectives.
Yeah. Um, I have a very unpopular perspective though. I think in regards to like the former members and stuff like that, um, they don't they're not owning up to the part they played and what they did,
I
and
agree.
now they're trying to just now capitalize on it that
Some
they
of them
were
are cloud
inside
chasing.
Mhm.
that they were inside of the cult, so like now they're just trying to monetize their
Mhm.
experience instead of like really preventing the same experience
Right.
repeating itself.
You'd be
So
surprised,
like,
Fuller. That's not unpopular. That's not an unpopular
not well, it
viewpoint at
is
all.
because like I got cussed out by a couple of people and they came at my neck, but I'm gonna hold my line regardless if how they feel. But
I
when
think
you look,
that's an intelligent statement, my brother.
Yep.
yeah, because when you look at Syrian, when you look at Nateri, when you look at Velvet, when you look at Honor, they all do the same thing, and they're all together not as victims but as how are we going to make the best of the attention that we have
That's
right now,
right.
That's a
and that,
perspective. There's nothing wrong with that perspective at all.
and
There's
then
nothing
and
wrong with
then like people can say like, oh, they have trauma. People can say like, oh, they have different ways of dealing with trauma, but um I guess speaking from like coming from a real place,
it.
like if you have trauma or something, you really just don't like go broadcast it on air. Like when you look at some of the former members, like there's that girl named Yaya. She disappeared off
He
social
disappeared.
media.
Yeah,
She
she never came
disappeared.
back.
She never came back. She just really had to go deal with herself. She didn't like just go on social media and do that. You know, and so I think she really was fighting for like herself, and just
Right.
recently like it's kind of messed up that like there's a group of people. I'm not going to name them. I'm not going to give them any names or make them famous, but since Velvet's now a bingo host, they now enable her to basically be head honcho. And on top of that, um, there was a guy by the name of Ryan D. I guess he was the white dude who was
Oh,
involved,
go ahead.
in like he volunteered his services to quote unquote take down Nature Boy, and like some people were actually vouching for him, some people were actually like rooting for him and stuff like that. And some of us were saying like, well, wait a minute, like how did he just like come out of nowhere and just like all of a sudden had you know had all the like all of a sudden just became interested in wanting to like be in the situation at the time. And then it turns out that this Ryan character is a pedophile himself,
Right.
you know.
Registered sex offender. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And so like,
But I think that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother night.
nah, but that's
Um.
what I'm saying. Like I'm just gonna just say it without being long winded. Without being long winded, I'm just gonna say that people aren't in it for a sincere cause.
I
They're in
agree.
it for monetary gain, and
I
that's
agree.
That's
with
why.
all
That's
the
one of the
people.
reasons, my brother. We were talking about we got to eliminate some of these people off of social media.
Yep. Yep.
These are the wrong people that are feeding our young people with so quote unquote consciousness. It's actually nothing but the demon, that's in them. That's actually exploiting a lot of young. Imagine you got a young daughter or a young son who's pretty much not sure what they want to do in life, and they see a nature boy. They just happen to turn on and see nature boy.
Mhm.
Do you want your daughter or your son going up to nature boy and rather than and they just ruin their whole life going there getting
Mhm.
diseases because they're making life choices. That's your life or death choices in that cult. You can either die, you can die in that cult. Yeah,
But yeah, that's a very good point. But also like the people outside of the cult who are enabling like certain practices like
Yeah.
that are not based on morals or based on like having good character. Like
Right. I
imagine,
understand what you're saying.
yeah, imagine like for example, like, and this came from a woman that actually is involved in this sector. I'm not going to name her name, but I said like, because I mean, if what is true about Velvet, what she did after, after she went to the cult and she did the things with Shaka or whatever the case may be,
Mhm.
then I said I just basically said what I said. I said she's for the streets, like she belongs to the streets. I said that, and then one girl said that, oh no, 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 she's not, it's okay, every girl has a whole face. And I just like, I really was taken back by them enabling that. Like
but wow,
imagine if her daughter heard that. Imagine if her daughter heard that, or a kid
wow,
heard that. Imagine if a kid heard,
Thank you,
oh,
Ivy. Hold on, Ivy.
every
Ivy
girl has
said.
a whole.
Ivy. Hold on, Fuller. Ivy said that's why he he wants young people because of their inexperience.
Right, we said that. That's what we were talking about, sis.
That's right.
Real
That's
talk.
right.
Yeah,
That's what we were
sure.
talking about. The
Yep.
inexperience.
Yep.
These young, that their minds are not developed. You think
That's
that these
true.
young people mind is developed at 21 and 22?
No,
No, it's not.
not at
Go
all.
look at the science behind it, man.
Thank you.
No, the frontal lobe isn't fully developed until 25.
That's right.
Right.
Yep,
Thank you,
24,
sis.
25. Absolutely. And people don't understand it, but we want to cast them off because this magical government, which is also a cult, tells us to dispel our children at
Right.
a certain age. And we have to stop listening to these people who enslaved our ancestors, some of them, um, who
Yes.
um, who continue to break our communities down. We have to stop listening to them to determine when it's time to allow our
Cast
children
away.
to, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
Right.
I'm 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 sorry, but I'm a traditional man. Like I'm very traditional and it doesn't go right with people. So I'm telling you right now, if I have kids, and I have a daughter, she ain't going through a whole phase. She's getting married. I'm gonna get her married, you know? I'm definitely gonna get her married.
but
I'm
before
not
you
gonna
get
let
her
her
married
do
you
that.
Good
have to
luck on that, brother.
let
Good
me say
luck. I
something.
mean,
Go ahead.
in a
I'm not gonna
perfect
let
world,
her
good
do
luck.
that. I'm like,
I'm
okay,
about to say
you
you see, listen, let me tell you something, okay? You before you worry about her being married to anyone, because she could get married to a
We gotta
narcissist.
love ourselves, man.
Exactly. You have to teach her to love herself and know herself. But I have to wrap this up, you guys. I'm so thankful for the panel, for all those who came on the panel. I'm so thankful for the people who stayed in the chat loyal to the end of this discussion. Hopefully people have learned something. Unfortunately we can't get through to everyone, and but that's okay. This was a great discussion, and I can't wait to build with you guys in the future. Thank you so much for the males who got the courage to come up, and my females are always courageous, so thank you so much.
Shout
Thank
out
you.
to you, real talk. Shout out to you. I'm out of here, but I want to tell you, shout out to you, and keep doing what you're doing. You know, keep your foot on it on his neck. You know what I'm saying? Keep on strangling, holding him. You know, it is what it is. You just keep doing what you're doing, and all glory goes to the Most High. I hope all you guys have a blessed night. Sleep well, man, and wake up and have another great day. I'm out of
Thank
here.
you so much, Peanut Nola, for blessing our panel with your presence. All right, you guys, have a wonderful night in
You
the
all
room.
right,
too.
thank you for having me on. I appreciate it very
No
much.
problem,
All
sister.
right. Looking forward to the next one.
All right,
Okay. Thank you, panel. Hit the like button. Don't forget.
bye.
All right.